Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about supporting the anime and manga industry, and I just want to use my platform to pretty much spread awareness because some people may not know. There's a lot of people who know, and there's a lot of people who don't know. So if you don't know about supporting the industry, I'm here to tell you it is very important. A lot of people tend to go to piracy sites to watch their anime or piracy sites to read their manga, and I'm not here to tell you what to do and what not to do. You definitely 100% can do whatever you want to do. I'm just saying, in addition to whatever you do, you should also support the industry, because these sites that are not licensed or not official sites for viewing anime, in a way, they kind of hurt the industry because the industry is not getting any money put back into it. And if you guys know anything about economics, pretty much for an industry to be sustainable, it has to have a steady flow of income or a steady flow of cash flow going into the industry. So what I mean by that is pretty much you have to put your money towards something that's going to influence the industry in a positive way. For instance, I see a lot of people complaining about their favorite series. A lot of the times people will say stuff like, wow, that was such an amazing anime and I really think it deserves a second season. But you have to realize, if the anime was not financially successful, it will not get a second season. It doesn't matter how good of a masterpiece it is. People need to get paid. The people who create these anime spend a lot of time actually animating this, and this is a job. Just like most people in the Western society have a job, like a typical 9-to-5 job, people in Japan go to work to animate these anime for us. Same thing with mangakas. A lot of these mangakas are not rich people. There are some who are big names and they definitely do get rich, but for the majority of them, they're pretty much just making ends meet because of things like their series not getting published, or another reason is just their series is not getting enough financial merit to warrant continuation of said series. So I'm not just going to sit here and tell you you should support the industry and not give you anything that you can possibly do to support the industry. So some easy ways to support the industry is pretty much, instead of reading scanlations online, you could buy the physical manga and subscribe to the channel if you want to see a video on that, because I'm gonna have a video coming on that soon. But like I was saying, pretty much support the industry by buying the physical manga. Even if you have read a scanlation online, you can still buy the physical manga, because personally, I'm not going to get into too much detail in this video because like I said, I have another one coming soon. But personally, for me, I think that physical manga are definitely better than scanlations. Let's say one day you just don't have any internet and you can't access any websites. You can pretty much go to your bookshelf and pick up any manga that you want and physically read it. You can also let other people borrow it. You can also let other people read it. I just think it's a very good form of preservation, because let's say a site gets taken down, or let's say they don't want to distribute the manga online anymore. You pretty much have it physically forever, and it's pretty much going to be an artifact of your collection that is never going to be taken away from you. So in my collection, I have a lot of manga, and that's one way that I support the industry. Another way that I support the industry is actually having a Crunchyroll premium account. Now, Crunchyroll definitely helps sustain the industry. It's mostly a Western phenomena where pretty much Western people have it, because in Japan, anime plays on TV. Now, here in the West, anime definitely does play on TV, but in comparison to Japan, it plays far less. You're pretty much going to find a small anime block on a network such as Cartoon Network's Toonami, or possibly even another network that has a block for anime. And usually these networks just have a niche kind of spot for the anime to go. It's not really a big focus. Unlike in Japan, there's whole networks dedicated to watching anime because it's their industry. So pretty much in Japan, it's not as big of a deal, because in Japan you have people buying the pop figures, you have people buying action figures, manga, they buy the anime. Me personally, I don't own any Blu-ray, but I'm definitely going to. The reason I don't own any Blu-ray because I feel like they're a little bit on the expensive side, and I'm gonna have a video about that too, so subscribe. I feel like they're a little high in price. So for me, like I said, I pretty much use Crunchyroll, have a premium account, but you actually don't even need a premium account. As long as you watch the advertisements that play on Crunchyroll as you're viewing it, then it helps sustain the anime industry. Now, with Crunchyroll, it also is an official way of viewing I'm not saying Crunchyroll is the end all be all for anime in the West, but I'm saying that it helps. Even if a tiny bit, it still helps. A tiny bit is better than not at all. So yeah, even a little bit is definitely going to go a long way. Also, because Crunchyroll is an official way of viewing anime, they get data, and data also helps the anime industry because it shows you what shows are popular and what shows are not. Crunchyroll even is now creating its own anime, so that is a very good thing. And if you continue to support the anime, then it's going to continue to be made, and it's just a cycle pretty much. So your money flows in and out, in and out. So essentially you pretty much put your money where your mouth is. So if you say you like a show, you know, support it by buying something that'll help the show. It doesn't even have to be expensive. Like, you can literally go to the store and buy an anime shirt, and because the store more than likely bought it from a reputable dealer, then pretty much is going to support the industry because they're buying it from the dealer, who then sells it to you, and then the store can buy more and more, and it's a cycle. So everything is a cycle. So pretty much in the cycle, your part is to pretty much put your money where you want it. All right, so in return, let's say you like a show and you buy something that helps the show. Pretty much what's going to happen is they're going to use that money and they're going to invest it back in making more for the show. So you get more for your money. But if you don't spend any money, it's definitely not going to be sustainable. And it, like I said earlier, it's not even about Japan. Japan is always going to have an anime industry because it's part of their tradition and it's part of their culture. But specifically in the West, when it comes to getting dubbed anime, or when it comes to getting merchandise, we're not going to get it unless we spend money on it. And if it's not profitable, they're going to stop wasting their resources to send it to our country. You get what I'm saying? Although I do tend to like physical copies of manga better, I still pay for the scanlations when I read them. They're only like $3. They're not even expensive, but since they're official scanlations, that definitely goes a long way in sustaining the industry. And you also get a very wide catalog of different manga to read, and it's the official translation. Also, the thing about scanlations is a lot of the time the translations and scanlations don't be the official translation. So if you at least spend, you know, a couple bucks on a website like Viz, then you know that you're going to get the highest quality of the scanlation, and you know that you're supporting the industry, and you're giving them statistics to show them what shows you like and what shows you should bring over here. Not just shows, but also manga. A lot of the time I hear a lot of people complaining about how bad animation is in some of these shows, and if you would have spent more money in support of the show, then there's a big possibility that the studio would have had more money to make the show even better. So while you're sustaining the industry and supporting it, it also helps to make it better. It's not gonna stay stagnant. The more money that goes into the industry, the bigger that it gets and the better that things gets. Just look at the Hollywood industry and how big it is in the United States. That's because so much money is poured into it, and that way they can make higher quality movies and higher quality sound effects, just high quality in general pretty much. A lot of the times I see people tend to not buy physicals, and I think their main reason is they think that it's going to be expensive, and that's not really the case, because you can buy a volume from a manga that you like for like $6, $7, maybe $8. You know, the price obviously is going to fluctuate depending on the manga, depending on how many pages are in it, but you can definitely get a lot of manga for under $10, and that's really not a lot of money to sustain the industry. Because if you really think about it, let's say everyone spent $10, then that is a lot of money. Pretty much a small contribution adds up in the grand scheme of things. So I'm not saying you gotta go bankrupt and spend hundreds of dollars on manga like me, but I am saying you should spend at least $2-3, or somewhere along the line you should be able to find a way to fund your anime habit. I mean, if you don't fund it, it's gonna definitely disappear, because no one wants to do any work for free. And even the people who want to do work for free, they find it difficult because they still have to eat, you know, they still have to put food on the table, so they're not going to find time to put into the manga and stuff like that. You can even support independent creators. There's stuff like Patreon, because not all manga gets published, and some mangaka are independent creators who definitely 100% rely on income from Patreons and people who want to put money into the industry. So in closing, pretty much, I'm not saying to stop what you're doing and, completely change your style of viewing anime or manga, but, just every once in a while, spend $5 or so to put it back into the industry, because if you don't, you're not going to get as high of a quality, and it might not even be a thing in the future. It's a possibility. I'm not saying it's a high possibility, but it's a possibility. So with that being said, it's been your boy NeoXO. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. And with that, I'm out.